just make sure you mute your name, because if you are on this, it might show up on Joe's thing. So. All right, good afternoon. This is Steve Koudelka, head coach at the University of Lynchburg. We have an outstanding guest today in this Lynchburg Coaches Hour, Coach Perzinski, who is now the head coach at the University of Elizabethtown College, my fault. And Chris has been graduate here from Lynchburg in 2008, and then was a longtime assistant here and did a fantastic job. Coached at Gettysburg College, coached at the University of Richmond, and now has taken over the Blue Jays at Elizabethtown and has done a phenomenal job. It's going to be a great talk today. It's going to be about man-down defense. We are truly honored to have him today. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of enthusiasm. There'll be a lot of great points. And we're really thankful for those who were able to join today and listen. Coach Perzinski, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach. My first time doing this. So let's all learn and grow together. I'm going to share my screen and get this going. All right. What do you guys, Coach Koudelka, can you still hear me? All right, here we go.
Yes, I can still hear you.
All right.
You're good.
Okay. Let's see. I don't want this crap here. All right. Here we go. Yeah, welcome, guys, viewers everywhere. Coach gave me this opportunity and asked for defense. And I thought I would get into the worst part of defense, and that's man down. As I built this presentation, I wanted to title it "Coaching Man Down Sucks," because you're the last guy that gets the pen. You're down a guy. There's a lot of reasons coaching man down can be problematic, whether it's you're trying to cram it in the last 10 minutes of a practice. You want to put your best players out there. They're in the penalty box. You're always trying to compete with not only what the opponent did the week before, but what we could expect the next week. But as I got more and more into this conversation, and I went for my run this morning not too long ago, I was like, playing man downs, like the way I look at it, it's 3rd and 2 at the goal line. You're up by 4. It's the last play of the game. And the things we're going to talk about today, I can talk to you about some simple things and what I look for in people that can play the man down position well. But I'm going to give you kind of more of my identity on coaching this and how I approach it to keep the ball at the back of the net. So, all right, I'm going to make you guys sit through the thank yous because these are the people that have been inspirational in my life. Coach Koudelka set this up. He recruited me in 2003. He gave me a shot, and he gave me a shot to be a college lacrosse coach for the first time. So he's been extremely instrumental. These other young men, they're all older than me. These other gentlemen here, Hank Janzik, Dan Shamati, Pat McAdams, they all gave me opportunities to serve their organization and serve their players at Gettysburg College, University of Richmond. And Albemarle High School is a place that I started my coaching career in 2009 with a 99 alum, Pat McAdams. Coach Turnbull, I'll talk about him for 1 minute. He was my high school football coach and JV lacrosse coach. I was so fortunate at the age of 14 to have a coach in my life that taught me to think about championships before the season started, that taught me that you need to get on a squat rack in June to win a November football game. And a lot of that kind of mindset I've applied into any institution I've coached. And the high school audience that we have, if lacrosse is your secondary sport, you can recruit lacrosse players to your primary sport if you're coaching football or basketball, and just give them work ethic that they're going to take back to the lacrosse field. And Coach Turnbull was instrumental in my life that way. All the guys I've worked with side by side to put the best product of lacrosse and the best experience for the players I listed there. If you're listening to this, thank you. My family, it's pretty cool that it's on YouTube. I think my mom and dad and brother might be on this, so hope they're being safe and doing well. You guys are very patient with me. And then finally, at the end of the day, players make this stuff happen. We ask them to do a lot of crazy stuff on and off the field, and the ones in those relationships that you build, they're a lot of fun. and this makes it all worth it. Okay, why this presentation and title? Being a head coach, you kind of oversee every asset and every part of your program. There's nothing more fun than having the pen and the whiteboard and drawing up everything that you think about offensively to score a goal, putting this player in this position at this time to look for this opportunity. That's the fun part of lacrosse. On the man down side of things, we're reactive to that. We don't get the ability to say this is how it's going to go, and if we do this perfectly, we should have this opportunity. Man down, we have a smallest sliver, smallest margin of error, and we have to maximize that. So wasn't afraid to attack this and look at it from a different view. You're going to see a very simple view of things, but you're going to hopefully take some proactive mindset towards man down and how you can dictate some things here. Little quick story about me. I was the assistant coach at Lynchburg College in 2015 when we went to a national championship. Had a fantastic man down, had a fantastic defense. We're awesome. I get an opportunity to coach Division I at University of Richmond with Dan Shamati and Paul Richards. Paul Richards is the best defensive mind that I've ever worked next to, and I'm trying to prove myself there. I'm the D3 guy in the D1 office with ACC opponents on the schedule, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to make it. I'm going to try to make everybody happy. I'm going to be this person that they want me to be. I'm in charge of the man down. I'm in charge of the goalies, and I help out with the riding and clearing. As the exclusive man down coach, the first 4 games, teams were 9 for 12 against us. And it was the most humbling, like, I'm going to lose this job. Need to go and think about regaining my busboy career. What the hell am I going to do from here? It was humbling, and it was a great experience to learn from. We're playing Fairfield, first game of the year. We're doing really, really well. Fairfield's 4 for 4 on man up against us. They go man up with 2 minutes left in the game. Paul Richards looks up to me and says, if we lose this game, this is on you, and you're walking home from Fairfield, Connecticut. I'm like, okay, this is where I am now. Welcome to D1. I bring the huddle in, the defensive guys. I'm like, what do you want to do? Let's throw out the game plan. They looked at me and said, let's shut the crease, strike it, and which meant some pressure. The ball went out of bounds. We win the game by 1, and it was a fun ride home. So appreciate the players of Tom Monzo, Brendan Hines, Ryan Dennis, Ryan Burning to bail me out of that one, because Paul Richards didn't really want me to be part of staff on that February day. We reinvent the wheel, bring the guys in, and then we just make one simple concept that we hammer over and over and over again, and then the next 6 games we're not scored on a man down. And really appreciate that opportunity and those players that have trust in me even after a rocky start. But if I'm going to say anything to start this before we get into X's and O's, you've got to be true to yourself on what you're presenting to the team. I was being something I wasn't to start the year, trying to talk the game, that a new institution, a new program with different players at the Division I landscape. And I wasn't true to myself. And finally, when I had to say back against the wall, say F it, I got more player buy-in, and I had more confidence every day. And I really appreciate the players giving me that time and patience to make us better as the year went on. So be true to yourself. You got to be true to yourself and your convictions and what you believe, because your players' buy-in is going to be the number one thing. Secondly, after that, you have to build your defense with your pieces. Some guys might have a basketball background where they understand the zonal concept of things, bouncing back and forth. You might have some guys that are just motor go-go guys that just want to go as hard as they can, as fast as they can. Okay, I have a picture here of Jeremy Klippel, a 2-time All-American out of Elizabethtown, 2-time Player of the Year in the conference. I don't know if he can dribble a basketball or understand a zone, but he was our most athletic, most hustle guy. We had to build rules around guys like him that we're going to rotate to everything and take the guessing out and let our athleticism showcase instead of, trying to be heady and cerebral like a longer basketball guy. Sat down with Ron Caputo of Duke in 2014 in the fall, talked about man down. He's like, yeah, we just run a 4-man because we're extremely long, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". You get length with your stick, and then they feel like they can rotate it. Like, that's the pieces they have to work with. And so when you go to build things with your defense, you got to look at the pieces that you're playing. I say to my guys all the time, we want to build this program to play chess, not checkers. And your chess pieces have certain abilities that other chess pieces don't. And so you maximizing where they're going to be the best is ultimately going to be, I believe, lead to the most successes. And that's in all areas and avenues of the game. The gentleman on the right, Jacob Woodworth, a guy that didn't see a lot of minutes for Lynchburg, but he found his spot on doing the one or two things we were going to ask him to do at Lynchburg and help us go to a national championship. And he became that glue guy. Man down is a great opportunity to get that defenseman that might be more heady, less athletic. You're worried about him on the ball. And maybe he can just buy in, or you can build something that he can do well. And if he has that ownership on the field, you just gave a young man a whole new world of opportunity and excitement. So that's what I like to do. I look at our personnel first and what they're going to be able to do. Then you get into the conversation of, is it a 3-man rotation, 4-man, zone? Are we holding spots? Rotate to everything. What are the rules of rotating everything? Are we shutting off? How much are we going to junk? That all comes secondary to what you find your guys to do. All right. Okay. How I build a man down. A simple drill that we get to do a lot. You know, we're doing this at least 3 days a week. This is just a 5 versus 4 in tight. You guys might laugh at me at how elementary this drill is. But this is what we use to build man down concepts, rotation concepts, and what I use to evaluate players on who can do this thing for us on man down. Okay. I have a clip that we're going to show, but let me go through this for you. The stars are the offense, and a little 2-3-1 here. Nobody on the crease, an empty crease. This is Coach. He's the red little, saw looking thing here. I'd like to thank sketch.com that I found yesterday for building this diagram. And then the blue is the defenseman. All right, I got a bucket of balls. This is a rapid fire drill. There's offensive guys behind the one that's the front of the line in each of these. And I am throwing a ball into any of these corners or X as fast as I can. 2 guys come in for D on the left, 2 guys come in for D on the right, and we simply play out a 5 versus 4 with no one on the crease to make our defense rotate. I believe this adjacent, quick recovery, quick sliding, proactive, moving drill is what you need to teach a defense some important things that I have listed on the left here: how to open our hips, how to get our stick up, how to get our butt down, where we need to be 1 pass away, 2 passes away, the angle that we want into the ball. We do this at rapid fire. There's benefits for the offense as well, and that they're working on zone, that we can get into carrying guys, carrying the ball, rotating around it, then putting in different rules. But 5 versus 4 in tight is how we build all man down in the programs that I've worked with. So let's go to the videotape. This is a Elizabethtown practice on January 29th, okay? This drill right now is actually just our first look at man up, man down. The drill we did before this was the 5 versus 4. Then we went right to a 6 versus 5 versus what we wanted the offense to be. Okay, I'm going to spend a lot of time on this drill, and I want guys to come in or text me questions about what we're looking at here. So this is actually a man up, man down. Okay, but I want to break down what I'm looking for and what was built up off the 5 versus 4. Okay, we're just taking away the crease. This would be a 4-man rotation defense. But all the things that I taught and applied in 5 versus 4 before this drill, that's what I'm looking for here. Okay, little things like this. All right, I want 17. This is a lot of younger guys, a lot of freshmen and sophomore on the field here. We're talking about angles to the ball. We want to be going into the elbow and the stick of the passer or the shooter. Okay, we're going to rotate to everything to make us work. Okay, but I want us to watch our angles, our sticks on the ball are trying to match plastic. Any little touch of the ball we can do, that's a win for us. All right, and we want to fill into the ball. I'd say 34 can probably come a little bit more right-footed high to do anything to disrupt the flow of the ball and timing of the man up of the offense, okay? This is a good angle by 45. This is a great example of what we need to do on all of our angles and breakdowns, coaches. I need our guys to approach into the shooter space, okay? If number 11 were to shoot, he would hit 45 right in the chest, and that's a win for the defense, okay? We want to break down into the stick of the shooter and into the path of the shot of the shooter. I don't think good shooters hit the fence. You know, they know how to shoot around. They know how to move their feet to manipulate. We want to come in and fill into the ball. We're matching plastics. That's a better angle by 34, okay? Not buying on pump fakes. Not bad here. It's really slow. It's January 29th. This is fine here. We know we're rotating. This, 45, here's our rules right now if you have a pen and paper. There's three responsibilities in a man down. Is you're on the ball, you're one pass away, or two passes away. If you are one pass away, which is what 34 is and 45 should be, your relationship to your man should be 70% to him, 30% to the crease, okay? That's the spacing that I'm trying to work at, okay? I want to be able that if he catches this ball here, I'm on him. So I'm 70% to him with my stick in the passing lane, 30% to the crease, all right? Right now, he's about 60% to the crease or maybe 80% to the crease and 20% to get to here on the redirect, all right? Two passes away, we need to be 50-50 to the crease, all right? So they give us a little bit of a carry and a redirect. No big deal. 17 does a good job. 45 needs to pull with him in case, because this is a one-pass step down. We cannot give away a one-pass, a redirect step down. 45 should be here. 16 should be filling in. Now listen, I put this in specifically because I'm glad this skip went through. This is a young man in his second week of a college lacrosse practice. His relationship to the crease is correct in that it's 50-50, but look at his hips. His midsection is facing the back of the crease. We need his hips to be open and his head to be able to turn so his left eye can see this where this man should be looking for a step down. And if the skip does happen, his stick should be up. He should be open like this here so he can trace this ball to the shooter and have a great breakdown. Okay? Two passes away responsibility. Jay does a great job of being there, but his angles and his hips should be open that he is not fully committed to the crease. Two passes away has two jobs. Help the crease, see the skip. He's doing one, not both. So we're on the ball with our sticking to the shooter or sticking to the flow of the ball, matching plastic for a knockdown. We're one pass away, 70-30 relationship to our man, so there's not a one pass away step down, redirect, anything like that. Or we're two passes away, 50-50 to the inside, but two jobs of inside and then opening up our hips to the outside. Okay? Let me see here. This is where I'm going to be trying to get better. There we go, 153 mark. 4 minute mark. Different group here against a more experienced offense. This offense absolutely shredded the D this day. Number 5 might have set the scoring record for 10 seconds in this drill during this time. This offense was clicking a little bit better. Like I said, I don't care about our man down today. I care about our recovery, our rotations, the little angles, the hips, where we are in a relationship with our man, the ball, and our breakdowns. I love this. This is a nice slow play here. 2 can't do anything. 24 is a lefty, but he's working hard to get into the angle of the flow of the ball. If you wanted to put pressure here, defensive coaches, that's good. This ball carrier now has to move his feet to throw the ball and extend the ball away from the goal, which is ultimately what we want to do in all defense. All right? Fine. We would have this skip right here. This is a good relationship of 70-30 to the man. His stick to the inside would hopefully deter the skip pass. 12 got better at this as the year went on. He was playing fantastic before our C went. But this is a great relationship of one pass away, where if the ball's thrown, we can get there, we can match plastic, but the stick just needs to be the inside to take away that adjacent skip. We get out of that one, they go into a different look. We're still in our 4-man, and now rules change. If they carry, we want to carry with to apply some pressure and make the ball carry after not at his hands free. That's a rule I believe in. Carry with pressure. Stay with the carry to apply pressure and not let them play hands-free surveying the field offense. Okay? Rotate out. This is fine. They called this pass on their own. I don't know if we were there yet at this point. It's what I would like to do later in the season. Okay? I'd say 28 needs to know he's one pass away here. His angle's going to be okay, but he's a little late. Now watch this. Kiss of death. One pass away. One pass away. Our relationship needs to be 70-30. He's fine here. He buys on the pump fake, commits his hips to be a 2-pass away and help the crease. Pump fake, redirect, goal. This is one thing that I'm looking and teaching our guys on a one-on-one basis on how we have to open our hips, not completely turn our hips to help with our relationship to our guy. That's too easy. That's a offensive coach's dream here, just to play on a guy that's buying on pump fakes. At 28, he learns, he knows, and we get better from this clip. So what am I looking for here? He won this. But then we get a little too excited. Number 28, you are one pass away. Stay one pass away. The ball will tell you what you need to do next. When the ball goes here, that's when you make your move to be 2 passes away. Don't bite on the bull crap and give up something where they don't even have to run anything. So this was all, I know, this is man up, man down. But this was all built up of the whole team did 5 versus 4 and tight to get our sticks hot, to get this rotation going, to build on these concepts. Because if you can't win on these individual concepts or have players that can do these concepts, you're going to be struggling when the man up versus man down segment happens. Okay. Let me see. Let me go one. I was informed of one way I can. See here. I know you guys are asking questions. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any. I'm doing that good of a job. That's awesome. All right. Here we go. So we went to 5 versus 4 and tight on how I look for building a man down and who's going to do it. Now here's the Chris Perzinski method of playing man down. All right. I said it's 3rd and 2. We're up by 4. We're on defense. We need 1 stop. Okay. They have their entire goal line playbook. They got, they can roll the tight end out. They got the fullback, it's play action to the tight end, the fullback in the flat all day. Like, what the hell we have to sit back and account for their entire playbook 2 yards from the goal line? I don't like living that life. I don't like living as a head coach, living and breaking down 4 films of man up and then trying to predict what they're going to do new this week after what they saw from us last week. So, that ain't good. I should have hit play from the current side. Man, you're overpaying me, Coach Koudelka. He's not paying me anything, by the way. So, this is where I've kind of rallied around and have had a lot of confidence and fun in coaching the man down and like what I would call a displacement theory. What can we do? What can we do proactive from the game films, from what my guys want to do, like to do, what they see, and getting the offense to not be what they practice the entire week? Can we shut off a player? Can we shut off an area? Can we get these offensive pieces that are so scripted going into the game to be moved around so that they're just a little less rehearsed, a little less comfortable, okay? And this allows us as coaches, when we do get to break the film downs, if you have that ability to do so, you can take away certain guys that, or you can pick on certain tendencies from certain guys. And we're going to go into all these different ways we can displace a man up. All right. Then bounce to what your defense is good at. Are you a 5-man rotation team? Are you a 4-man rotation team, which is what we just saw? Are you a zonal magic team? I'll break that what magic means to us, but mainly a zonal defensive team. Can you get the offense to man up out of their comfort zone, move a guy around, take a guy away, take an area away, and then bounce into whatever that you feel your team is the most confident in? And this is my displacement theory thoughts on man down. It's 3rd and 2 on the goal line against Chris Perzinski, of a defensive coordinator of a football team. We're sending the kitchen sink. Your quarterback's not going to sit back with his hands free. We're going to be single coverage on the outside, but we are going to disrupt where the ball is up the middle and make the guys do something a little bit more rushed. That's the whole idea of what we want to do here. So 44 area. 44 is what we would say is a shut-off type of situation. 44 area, 44 man, things like this. This is where we want to take away a certain spot in the field that we deem to be the most dangerous. All right. Nothing too creative here, but this is against our game versus Messiah. They had a couple guys that we could really felt like could bring it, but they only had one true lefty on the field. Okay. So our whole game plan going into Messiah on a short week, this was a Wednesday game. We had a great film of Stockton where Stockton just pressured the hell out of these guys. But after 5-6 passes, they did get their step downs. They had one true lefty that we were scared of that could hammer it, but they had 3 righties that I thought were very capable shooters. So we went into our defensive meetings. We talked to the players and practiced what would happen if we just take away goalie's right side of the cage. 3 could bring it. 37 can bring it. I don't want that. I don't want my goalie to see that shot there. Let's make it play on the side of the field where they only have one true lefty. Hell of a player there, but let's make the other guys with right hands beat us on goalie's side left. So we're at Messiah. Okay, we take this guy away right away. This is one thing I've also noticed too. Like right now, I'd say this is an effective man down. If we can get a guy dodging a short stick, that's a win, because now they're not in their playbook. I don't know how often that is, dodging, leaning in. That's 6 seconds wasted to me, or 4 seconds, whatever it might be. All right, now, midweek, early season, gosh, we didn't really get to play past March 14th this year. What number 10 is doing, saying, okay, I've displaced 3 step down. I'm going to take away 37 step down, and my buddy Chase is going to come up and fill this top center area, and this is where we're going to win this 5 versus 4. Okay, we miscommunicated. We did not play this well. Okay, we had a miscommunication, but we do get out of it with hustle. Right, in a perfect situation, we would have stayed here. 25 would be floating up, but we had a breakdown. A senior sees that, oh man, something's not right, and he hustles to kind of make this play and get to the ball. Okay, now I don't know. Like apparently in Central Pennsylvania on Wednesdays, officials, this is a penalty, but whatever. It is what it is. It allows me to talk to you about the next segment of man down. But we were very comfortable with them, with 3 shooting from 14 and letting our goalie see that. Very comfortable with that. Like I said, in the perfect world, as you see here, 10 wants to go, shut this off and keep the ball over here. We would bump 25 up, and now we have all poles going to only one true lefty step down area. You're going to see it better in this next man down that we kill. All right. I'm glad we practice a lot of 5 versus 4 and tight. It makes it really easy to know what we're doing when we have to go 2-man down. That 30-second penalty is killed. Our next short stick comes in. Okay. 37, he knows that he wants to try to steal some seconds, steal some passes here. We're going to go and take this away. Now we have all of our poles. They don't move anybody over there this time. It's all poles in a 5 versus 4 tight situation. And we're allowing this guy to shoot off of his back foot, high to high, for a turnover there. If you can force a bad shot on man down, that's the same as picking the ball off, because the goalie's going to catch it and go. And so that's, if you saw in this clip, 44 area, we just want to keep the ball over here and make one true lefty versus all righties beat us. Great story of Gettysburg 2013. Andrew Toner was a really, really heady short stick D-midi for us. Haverford, we needed to win this game to get, lock in the 2 or 3 seed of the Centennial Tournament. Dickinson was great that year. But anyway, Haverford, when their guy was shut, they brought him right to the crease thinking we were just going to shut their big step down righty. Our guy in the area floated right back to an empty space. And this guy at X, because he's so programmed on what he's doing, he threw the ball right to our guy, Andrew Toner, picked it off, and we had a punt return for a clear. You just never know if we send the blitz on 3rd and 2, all right, if we, are more proactive and more organized than what we do, hopefully we can steal some possessions on man down. But go back to, it was all what our guys' comfort zone was on all the reps of 5 versus 4. We all, so that's my Messiah film. I have a text come in. The question was, did Messiah start the game at midnight, or do you have a black and white camera? No, that was Messiah's webcast. And it just goes in and out of color through the night. But thank you for that question. I will let you be named anonymous here. All right, really basic principles, 44 man, okay? They got a stud. Maybe it's a great inside guy. Maybe it's a guy that can bring it from 18. Maybe it's that fantastic feeder who, maybe it's the Grand Ament. You want to see the step down from Mac O'Keefe, but you don't want Ament to pass it to 4 different spots of the offense. 44 man is us saying we are going to take this guy away and make somebody else beat us. I love breaking down stats and looking at who the man up people are. Those teams that have 5 or 6 scorers on man down or man ups, that's a problem. If that's the situation, I want to see who's distributing the ball in that situation. If there's a guy with 8 goals on man up and the next guy only has 1, all right, let's take away that guy and make the other guys be scorers for us. That's truly what I believe in. Okay, let's keep their best player or facilitator out of the game. The only stops we got versus Swarthmore this year in 2020 were on man down, so this was a painful one to clip up. Coach Gress's squad was playing fantastic. When the season ended, my heart breaks for those guys. They hammered us pretty good. But we wanted to take one certain guy out of the game here. Number 21, Austin Cheng for there was a guy I felt could score from anywhere. My guy's going to get to know the type of toothpaste that he uses, Colgate or Crest. That's how much I want him shut off. I want somebody else to beat us when it comes to a man up, man down. We will play this 5 versus 4 in tight. And another thing, going back to that drill, coaches, you can, if you know a team is going to use has seen a shut before, and they sit in a 2-3-1, they sit in a 3-2 like Swarthmore is, you practice those 5 versus 4 reps in their offensive situation, okay? With what they're comfortable with. So we kind of have an open set with it. Good angle by 24 as a, he's a lefty, but his right foot is coming into the shooting space. Good. I'm happy with this one. 12 might get a little, 12 makes a play on this. 24 has a good angle to get hit with it. And that wasn't probably what Swarthmore practiced all week. And I'm okay with this gentleman shooting the ball instead of 21. And that's our mindset and identity behind shutting a certain man, going back to the 5v4 principles that we hammer all the time. I have another minute mark here for you. There we go. What do we have here? Oh, I'm screwing this thing up. We're even here. 130-20. Here we go, man down. Yeah, this is why I put it earlier. I mean, defensive coaches in the room, help me out here. I still am not over this one, that's a penalty in today's game. But a lot of people, there's the Coach Perzinski, had some choice words, but we've been man down 7 times this game. My guys are exhausted. That's just the way that day went. Anywho, glad we can get some humor here. I'm telling Leslie, just keep playing lacrosse. That's not a bad hit. That guy never played football for Steve Turnbull. Anyway, here we go. I think we actually give up a pretty bad step down. Take 20 away again. There's another thing that you can do with this. All right, I'm telling 22, don't be a robot. if they're going to be shooting and the ball's on this end line here, you can be the first one to beat that end line. I think I could have done a better job in prepping our guys maybe to steal a ball off the end line if the shut guy is going to go to the goal to the end line. Understand? Or if they're just going to hang out on the sideline, I always bring that guy in to maybe just play some cat and mouse, get the passer at X or the guy top center, just to think a little bit through his cradle, buy the defense some time. We're a little too spread here. We're tired. We're fatigued. But, this is what we kind of wanted. Here's some carry rules you're seeing now. Swarthmore later in the game. This is the third quarter. They have a little bit more motion. We're carrying, so they can't survey hands-free, because if they do that, they see to the low post. We have to be able to come down here a little bit and take away this skip. We do, because once you're skipped, we're screwed. Like, once you give up that skip, we're screwed. Defense is tired. I am happy with the carry. He goes with the drift. 45, can't back up away from the pressure. He has to go towards it. Down the back looks good. One is just got to get his stick up, and I think he picks it up, but we trust our goalies on that too. So anyway, 5 versus 4 in tight, taking away number 21. That is a way that you can kind of dictate things on 3rd and 2 while you're man down. All right. This is probably where I'm going to get the most questions, and I'm looking forward to them. All right. A team's playing a 3-3. The 3-2 zone, what we have called Magic since I was even a player at Lynchburg, has been a huge avenue for us. Okay? We have 3 different responsibilities. We have a top center guy, a guy top right, and a guy top left, and a guy low left, and a guy low right. All right, here's our rules here if you want to take a picture with your phone or a screenshot, okay? This guy top center, in this diagram here, all right, this is how it would start. This guy top center, throw away your rules of 1-2 and ball a little bit, okay? You're going to be more, because it's a zone, you're going to be more dictated by your spot in the zone. Because I'm putting the ball top center here to start the play, we're ball, we're 1 pass away, we're 2. That's why I have this stuff here. Top center guy. All right, we're going to show you on our film. He needs to be on a line between these top right and top left wings. He cannot let a wing-to-wing skip get through, because that is going to put a ton of pressure if the ball's here and that skip gets through. Getting these guys from their responsibilities to help the ball is very, very hard. This guy's going to be on a string between this high crease and wherever this top center guy is feeding from. I've never really seen a great shooter here. I think that's a poor shot on man up. This guy is not necessarily to take this ball away from getting rid of a great step down. It's to take away this skip and just be on a string to not let this guy survey these low corners with his hands free. He, with the least amount of responsibility physically, has the most responsibility for the whole defense to work and make their efforts with these guys at top left and top right a little bit easier, okay? Top left and top right. As this ball travels, okay, let's say the ball is going to go down the low right quadrant here. These guys that are in the top left, this one, he's going to go up and down. He has no crease responsibility, okay? My arrow here, he comes into the crease and then down to the back pipe. The ball's in this lower right quadrant. His stick needs to be able to intersect with this goal crease. This guy cannot get a skip to the low lefty pipe. One has to be all the way down the back here, okay? Inversely, if the ball goes to the low left, the top right quadrant gets all the way down the back here, okay? Who's got the crease? 2. 2, these low left and low right guys work up and in and out. Okay, we get the ball here. I need a full commitment from number 2 to get to the crease. He is fine leaving the man in his zone because he knows 1 is coming all the way down to intersect that skip lane with his stick between the crease and him. Okay, the only thing that they have is a skip right now to this guy, where our top center guy has a stick in, and this guy's kind of helping a little bit with that. All right, but that is our rotations in Magic. Up and down from the top left, top right, in and out from the base with low left, low right. Okay? We couldn't get that thing to be interactive. Let me check this question thing that we have here. So cool. Now, I'm going to shout out Stockton right now. I thought they were fantastic. I thought they had awesome players with great sticks. This attack unit all returned last year. They had over 100-point goal score. You see some misses on their part, but Stockton sitting in this 3-3 was fantastic. And all the credit to Coach Zuloff. 24 was a senior, 19 was a senior. This was a really fun thing to game plan, but also a nightmare at the same point. So our guy right here, all right, if you are fortunate enough to have field hockey lines on your field, that is a great barometer for your top center guy in a Magic set. He's parallel with this wing-to-wing skip, and he can play on a short string from the high crease to this guy that's a feeder here. Okay, look how easy that was. I mean, holy hell. These guys were box players. They were friends, obviously. It's tough. I would say that as we got longer into the game here, I would say that one probably needs to come up and address the ball a little bit more, because this is where we're the most vulnerable, because the biggest pressure here is the guy on the low right and the low left having to cover three people, the pipe, and the high crease. I would say to Griffin, all right, I like where you're starting, but come on out and do not let him play this so easily. All right, got away with that one. Nice, beautiful February day. I think this was, the 29th. This is leap year day. They're coming in, no wing-to-wing skip. Offensive coaches, I love. They sit in this 3-3. I love this little curl that they're doing with their lefty here that just goes to a quick open set for stuff like this. We were not prepared for it. I would tell our guy that's on the low base to go up. We go over, we go down the back, but we didn't have enough time to put that in, and lucky that they didn't do that little motion more than one time. Because that crease guy, his responsibility when the ball goes here, this should be number 24 coming up and in, 25 getting down the back, but he's really stretching him and putting a lot of pressure on him. That's out of his comfort zone. I don't think he should take these negative steps backwards, but he should be filling up to the ball. But that little pressure of pulling that crease guy and curling was a good little wrinkle that I look forward to exploring in 2021. Give Coach at Stockton credit for that. Okay, let's talk about assignments. On the ball, this guy, this is fully committed. This low left guy is fully committed to getting to the inside of the crease. This guy that's playing the top left quadrant, he's all the way down the back, so we do not see this skip look here. That's the assignments. And then they go in, and we have to really collapse on this. And this is the way the day went. It literally hits their guy, and then they have right back to the top center guy who force feeds the low crease and gets us on a scramble. This was in here to try to show some rotations here. Now, we've gone over the basis of Magic and the responsibilities. I'm going to go through in the ideal situation for Chris Perzinski as a coach of Elizabethtown to got a response on what we kind of want the other team to do with a shutoff and then go into a new formation. So let me help out here. Will you adjust your shape of the middle of possession if the offense changes their shape? If they are going to carry, yes. What we will do is we will have our simple rules. The question here, I think everyone can see it because it's screen share. Will we adjust our shape to the middle of possession? Yes, we will have simple 5-man rules where if they carry, we carry with them, and then we fill behind the ball. But that's hopefully something that we can game plan for. Oh, man, I hate it when that thing comes up. Yeah, my guys, as I mentioned earlier to the question that we have here, my guys are better when they just are carrying with the ball and rotating through it. We rotate every time in 5 versus 4. We want to rotate every time in 6 versus 5. We do a lot of 6 versus 5 with man-to-man principles just to get ready for our team defense, and we're going to rotate every time. Like I said earlier, some personnel might have longer, headier basketball zone type of players. That's a great one where you could stay pass and things, but our rules are going to be stay with the carry, cut with the cutter, rotate into the ball as it's passed one more, just like we would in all of our drills. That's a great question. Thank you for contributing. Let me go into a great situation here. and then I want to get into specific questions. I had Coach McGuire of Lynchburg dig into some 2015 film of Lynchburg. This is a Lynchburg, put on this presentation, so I thought I would go deep into my film archives here as best as I could, working from home. This is versus Roanoke on 2015. The start of the third quarter, we ended the half down 2 men, and so Lynchburg has to start the quarter 2 men down. All right. We as a coaches, Coach John Lombardo at the time was my colleague when we were working with the defense at Lynchburg. We actually kept our short stick in to bring our long pole out of the box just because of our whole shut displacement theory that we wanted to do. Let's go back to simple principles that make this successful. Love this defenseman. If this guy takes a shot, he's shooting into it. He can't feed through a person or a stick. All right. We kill the first 10 seconds. We are in magic, guys. We are in magic. We made the decision that number 25 could stretch the defense. We want to put our long pole to play that top center position just to get a little bit more length on the spot where he could feed the low corners or stretch the defense with a feed. Okay? We wanted to take away their most dynamic lefty. So that's what we do. We kill it. We bump to magic. All right? And now we have some guys that have to move around. All right? Now, why we go over magic as what we go over magic the most in our defense is because if a team sees a shut and they bring the shut guy to the crease and we were to just stay in that lock, that would be a 4-man rotation versus 6 guys above the cage. That is very, very long and very, very exhausting for a defense. If a shut guy is going to go to the crease versus a Chris Perzinski defense like Lynchburg in 2015 or Elizabethtown now, we are going to bump off the crease into a 5-man or a magic set. What we have here is, as this is recognized, we go to the crease. The defense is well coached. There are a lot of seniors on this field right now. The crease guy, if he's on the crease now and the ball's in the low left quadrant, number 10 here knows that as the ball moves down, he's responsible to the low right pipe. So he's okay to know to move off the crease. He's now, look, already 2 passes away. He's working to get there. We take that away. He honors him. Great. Crease is covered here. We're working to get down here. Top center guy, he doesn't get too low to play this crease because he trusts the low left guy. Okay? Kind of takes 2 steps, but he knows he needs to take away top center. And then we're kind of off to the races, on man down. All right, to start the half. Down 2 men, killed 1. All right, we get a nice little transition break out of it to really kind of set the tone for the second half. All started with us being a little bit more organized. I know Coach Koudelka would like to extend that clip there a little bit. Shout out any Hornet recruits. But this is everything that we wanted. This was us playing checkers with our pieces. Chess with our pieces instead of checkers on man down. All right. We killed it. We knew 25 we needed to account with the pole. We got them displaced. I truly believe that if we were to stay in this 4-man versus their 5 on the perimeter, they would have beaten us with ball movement. But we said, screw that. Everybody needs to know their spot and position in Magic. Our short stick goes to what typically a defenseman spot would occupy, fills that corner. Okay, we all trust each other in each other's spots. This guy ain't a feeder. His job isn't to feed top center, but things are a little bit more displaced because he's not getting the ball fed to him from 25. Throws a poor decision ball, and we get to capitalize. We actually won the next face-off and got another man-down goal back-to-back, which is kind of, this is everything that you could hope for in a shut-off, bouncing, and what we look to do defensively. So let me go back to my presentation here, and I have 2 texts coming in. What do I do versus a 1-4-1? That's a great question. Coach Hall from Gettysburg, we would have match your points on the perimeter with our poles. Why even have a, let me see here. I'm going to talk to you, look you in the eye here. All right, there we go. Yeah, Coach, we would, what we would do is we would match your points in the perimeter. okay, with our poles. We'd have our short stick go on the crease, and then as you popped, we would pop with your guy and then bounce to a 5-man set. All right, and then maybe after that 5-man set, we would go and shut. Or if you had somebody extremely dangerous, maybe we would shut him to start and just get you into what your secondary offense and then bump into something new. The whole displacement theory is what we want. You get to put in your man up 6-on-0, and it's based on timing and guy strengths and looks and reads and hands. If we can take 2 of those things away or move 2 of those pieces, it might set our defensive up to where we want to be, and just maybe a tad bit more organized than you in those 30-second windows. So that is kind of what we look for there. Had another question come in. Is there a scenario of not people movement but ball movement, like a high and away skip, that will cause a break of the zone concept? Rotate off the skip and then back into magic, like black rotation. Excellent point. Yes. No, we won't stop him. Okay. So the question is let's say this ball from goalie's back right does get skipped. Let's get the ball there. There it is. Let's say this guy is looking, all right, to feed that soft point here. All right, we're in kind of scramble mode. We're in which will all be in adjacent rotation and recovery. Okay. The why I love the 5 versus 4 and tight, and this is something I stole from Coach Richards, is so much of defense in the scramble and unsettled, and so much of recovery once you slide and you have to recover is an adjacent rotation. Okay, so we hopefully have the reps where if this skip were to happen, probably our short stick would fly here. They won more. We would fly up. We would come over, and we're now just in a 5-man adjacent rotation. Coach Richards at Richmond, when he was working at Cornell, he learned from Coach Koudelka there that they start all of their defensive concepts with only adjacent rotations because of how much it helps you in the unsettled and your angles and your breakdown, but also with your recoveries as well. The ball moves so fast this day and age. I don't think you can have just a traditional slide from the crease, recover to the crease, bump off the crease to the next one, because that backside dodge is going to happen so quickly. You might have to have an adjacent near man rotation to that backside dodge to support. We want to use that as our kind of secondary slide package on man up. 6-on-6, as we do on the scramble if a skip does break through on man down. I hope that makes sense for you. Now, you bring up a great point. Let's just sit with the concept here. Let's just sit in the 3-3 here. If the ball is transferred through X, what are the rules? You know what? This is going to be easier to describe. This is making me so much better at this because it's not good now. Apologize for that. So let's get this out of here for you. The one little rule that we'll have, if we're seeing a 3-3 and we're in Magic, they transfer the ball through X. Okay, class. If the ball's in the low left quadrant, who has the crease? The low right quadrant should be fully committed here with this top right guy all the way down the back. We would never advise that when the ball transfers for here, okay, this is my spot. Well, the spot's different right now. We would never go from crease to ball responsibility. If they throw this and this guy just flies out like a bat out of hell, that's a quick look for a dunk here because this guy is not there. The guy that was on the ball needs to go right to the crease. That's too much. The ball moves too fast. Ball's in the low left quadrant. They transfer through X. We're going to tell this guy to stay on the crease. Our top right guy, who's all the way there, you just come occupy that spot. They one more it this way. We move our top right guy over. And if he one mores it, our guy that stayed on the crease when the ball started here, he would float up. Understand? I like that 3-man rotation if the ball transfers through X out of Magic more than a fourth and a fifth guy. I truly believe if we can rotate 1 or 2 less people, we have integrity on that back side, we're stronger that way. we would call that at Elizabethtown a black rotation. Ball transfers, I'm already down there, down, 1, 2, we black that out, and now we're sitting in top center in that 3-2 zone. So I'm sorry I'm not wasn't too crafty on my sketch.com to make this animated. So I hope you can follow my voice and my cursor here. So. Nope. Well, if I got no other questions, we'll just go right to my next slide. And it's kind of getting the top of the hour here. So we have a lot of time on our hands, coaches, and I get a lot of questions about, like, what are some professional development opportunities? These are books that you could order on Amazon, or these are things that you could find on ESPN. Let's get Coach out of there. That have been instrumental to me in my professional development. So if you want to screenshot this is some things that if you want to kill some time and learn stuff from. If you're a little bit of an analytic guy, I started in the private sector in operations supply chain management. This book is so amazing about efficiencies, being efficient with your time. Good to Great, it's a cultural thing. I'm a big Pete Carroll fan. I hope that when I'm 65, I can have as much energy and identify with demographic of players at whatever that's going to be in 30 years as he can, and this is his mindset. Outliers has been the number one influential book for me as far as building a program and leadership and allocation of time. Legacy is a great cultural book, and these are two great ESPN things that we've used in my program before. The 2017 team I had at Elizabethtown inherited, first-year head coach. We kind of rallied around stuff we learned from that. I wasn't going to change the stuff that those 14 seniors had done over the last 3 years. I just wanted them to meet me halfway with some things. And the concept of do not flinch in times of adversity was what we rallied around from that. And then, this one made me cry, made me want to work out. Kroom, who was the first African-American head coach in SEC history, is a great little thing to watch in some of the downtime that we have here. So let me go back to the Google form before I get to my last slide. Huh. All right. For response. Oh boy. You touched on shape changes. What about crease perimeter changes from double crease to single crease? Yeah, you know what? I love this. This is going to sound like a Polish response, which I 100% or 50% in Polish. That's why I love the shutoff stuff. That's why I really love the shutoff stuff and bouncing. I do not now, as a man down coach, I don't have to sit back and worry about this bull crap. Like, you guys got the pen, you guys got the shapes, you guys got the shooters. I really don't. This is exactly why I'm on the displacement theory thing, because when are you coaching man down? You're coaching man down the last 10 minutes of practice when the defense is the most exhausted against a look man up who might not run everything perfectly. Chris Perzinski says, all right, F it. We're going to take one of these two things away, and we're going to rotate to it. It sounds maybe juvenile, maybe arrogant, but this is exactly why I have so much fun on blitzing on 3rd and 2 on the goal line instead of sitting back and letting you dictate into all this type of stuff. You get great guys. If you're really long and you rotate like animals, maybe a 4-man, and you just play out that. You can, with pressure, you can junk it off the end line, or you sit back. It's what your personnel does and what you're the most confident with. My favorite thing the day before a game is at the end of the man down segment, we've practiced 2 or 3 different ways we want to dictate. I go right to the man down and I say, what'd you like the best? And they give it to me. And then all the what ifs and all the questions of, like, but if this guy goes here, if this guy goes here, it's like, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Like, I hope you just guys remember all of your equipment when you get on the bus. Like, so I got other things to worry about than, like, if this guy's going to have his shoelaces different colors tomorrow. So that's a big reason why I do this displacement type of method here. Would you rather make an EMO uncomfortable with your stick to what your man down does best? So are you trusting your reps in practice and personnel to execute the game plan? We are going to practice in a skeleton setting what we feel that is going to be that the other team does well. We're going to rotate versus a 3-2, rotate versus a 1-3-1. assuming that we're shutting off a guy. I'm going to put my guys in positions to rep out what they're going to do, and then I'm going to see what they're the most comfortable with. One of the things we can do out of a 44 is you can still strike. You can play 5 versus 4, and you can really get out and jump the ball on a second or third pass. If you're really long, and that's your Jeremy Klippel, number 6 defenseman I talked about earlier, if that's your mindset, go for that. We'll adjust your shape in the middle of the possession. Oh, we did that. Are you more likely to go with a man look? Or I would go with a 5-man. That is true. If I'm going to sit back and go against a 2-3-1 or a 1-3-2, we're going to go with a 5-man rotation. And typically our rules are going to be stay with the carries, cut with the cutters, rotate off as the ball brings you out. You can't go magic versus a 2-3-1. It already puts the offensive players in the gaps of your 3-3 or 3-2 zone. So another thing I like to do if I'm not going to junk, if I'm like going to coach if someone said you cannot do this, the number one rule that I'm going to do is have my defense come out and they're going to match the points of the perimeter. So if they're in a 2-3-1, everybody on the perimeter is going to be addressed. So the offense will not start into a gap and make us rotate. We're going to all share the crease and the points will be addressed, and then we will rotate as they carry, move, and throw the ball. If that makes sense. I hope it does. That's a great question. If I'm not going to junk, my number one thing is match the points of the perimeter. So we're not going to give away a one pass away step down and them sit in the gaps. All right. And now we just know that we have to share the crease with 1 on the ball, 1 pass away, 70-30 to their man, and then 2 passes away, helping and sharing that crease. That's how I try to simplify it if I have 20 minutes and I'm going to put in a 5-man defense. So we'll go back to the PowerPoint with one more thing I want to talk to you about. I want to say thank you to a number of people to end this here. For one, my assistants that have been here, my current assistant, Coach McGuire, he moved here from Chicago and his season got ended. And just when we were about to hopefully find our stride, he helped me with this presentation, and he does more work than he's compensated for at Elizabethtown. And so I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all these coaches. And this is one thing I'm going to leave you with as you go on and try to prepare for what's next for you and your programs is these 2 questions. Is this one question, and then this next mindset is, are you coaching to your players' fullest potential? I graduated from Lynchburg in 2008. I had a great group of teammates and team that won a lot of games, scored a lot of points, and allowed me to be, honored, with some bullcrap awards. All I could do was hammer slashes, like slap checks, and just play with a motor and do line hops in my playing career. And I was tabbed All-American for whatever reason. I go and I get the job at Lynchburg to be a graduate assistant with Max Silberlicht. Great mind of the goal and the offense and the defense. He's coached it all. I go in the coach's office and he says, don't screw it up. The cupboard's full. And I go and I'm coaching a defense that is number 43, John Lombardo, number 47, John Gill, and number 6, Joe Lasicki. 2 first-team All-Americans and another All-American in John Lombardo. These guys had skill sets that I didn't have. If I were to go into Lynchburg in 2011 and 2012 and do overpasses and line hops, which was my comfort zone, we would have been very, very average, and I would have been doing these guys a disservice. These players and their skill sets with hockey backgrounds and just better skills, they pushed me to have to find new ways to make them better. Learning how to do a backhanded flip so I could coach a backhanded flip better, because number 43 never put the ball in his left hand and threw overhand, which is what I was coached to do. So I ask you, and then there you go for the high school coaches on the call, there might be somebody that just can't do what you're so passionate about. Like, we need the coach to our players' fullest potential and to max them out, not what our comfort zone with. And, you got to stay true to yourself and who you are and your core values and beliefs, like my story about Richmond and man down and going teams going 9 for 12 against us. But you need to really dig deeper into the players that win the game instead of the game plan that typically gets thrown out the window by the second quarter. I love about the sport of lacrosse that it's an imperfect game with a bouncing rubber ball on a plastic stick, and goals happen in a lot of different ways that you don't really plan for. My favorite one is Jordan Wolf being on a ground ball in front of the sideline versus Notre Dame in a national championship. He has three men of Notre Dame defensemen beating the piss out of him. He gets the ground ball, runs 25 yards to the cage, sticks it, national championship won. I do not know of a single drill I've seen in 12 years of doing this where it's 3-on-1 ground balls going to goal. The Jordan Wolf squatted 500 pounds that year. And that's what I love about the imperfections of the sport and putting your players in positions to max out their potential. So that's why I have these three Lynchburg guys that started my career and forcing me to be better than what I was comfortable with in 2008. And then I also think as coaches, we need to embrace the sensitivity of this profession. A whistle and a title doesn't make you a coach. Your ability to relate to your players to make this part the best part of their day makes you a coach. And we have the ability to make going and being part of a team, being part of a practice, being part of a mission, being part of a core value, something that will make them the best, something that they wouldn't be otherwise. And we also have the ability to take that away. And I've had to learn that the hard way, and maybe being too hard on a player, and where I took the joy from him. And we always have to check ourselves going into the office and going into the film room to make this the best part of their day, not ours. This is our job. We do it because we love it. Some of us do it to put food on the table, but they're the players that want the great experience, and that is our job as coaches. So that's what I have. I just got the red light that we're past one. I'm glad there's no questions on YouTube. I hope I addressed some of the there are questions here. I'm sorry for a couple of these where I'm pretty vague, but it's what I believe in and why I look at man down a certain way, because to me, it sounds like a job when you're trying to figure out 18 different things that they could potentially do to us instead of sitting back and saying, what can we do to them? What can we do to them on 3rd and 2 to win the game? What can we do them down a guy to getting a man down goal off a fast break? That's how we like to build things here. So my last thank you to my staff, the guys that have played for me, the guys that have coached with me, the coaches that have let me coach for them. I'm a handful at times, I know it, and I'm sure Coach Koudelka, if you want to jump back on, can give you some stories too. But hopefully this had some insights that you can take with you. And be safe, everyone. Best of luck in 2021. And I'm here up in Central PA if I could do anything for you. I know I got some phone calls to return, but I'm love what I do, and I love who I do it with. So I love who I've done it with in the past. So thank you very much. Have a great day.
Chris, thank you. I don't know if, Joe, we're going to capture the end of this, but just want to say, Chris, from all of us who listened today, it was fantastic. I think we had over at the peak of the talk today, over 60 people had kind of viewed in through YouTube, and that was fantastic. And I could just, I think what at the very end when Coach was talking about some of the finer points of coaching, I think you have to, you have to believe in people, and that's the most important, piece of our job. And, especially during these are strange times, obviously. And I think all of us as coaches are trying to find the ways to connect with our student athletes, whether you're a high school coach, you're a college coach. But I think, just kind of checking in with them and making sure that they're doing great. Not we're done off the field for right now, obviously, but just taking care of themselves as people. I think we're all trying to do that as coaches, and I think Coach Perzinski speaks to that. I can honestly say this from my family, that when Chris Perzinski's name is brought up in our household, that there's a lot of smiles. There are a lot of great conversations that happen. I think anybody that has played for him, whether it's been at Lynchburg, Richmond, Gettysburg, Elizabethtown now, I think the exact same thing is said. I would, if my son played for Coach Perzinski, I would be a very proud father. I know that. He would learn a lot. He'd be challenged.
but at the end of the day, he would leave there a better young man. I think that was always trying to do. So, Coach, thank you for everything you've done today. It's great, simple, clear, concise. I know we're all trying to work through
the technical stuff now, and I thought you did a fantastic job. And last thing I would say is just all those people who are on the front line of this, the coronavirus. We're able to sit here today and do what we love to do, and we appreciate everybody that is putting themselves on the front line to hopefully put an end to this. We are so thankful as a college and high school and just basically a lacrosse community. So thankful for those people for doing what you do and putting your lives. You are the heroes right now. We know that. We understand that. We appreciate you, and thank you for all that you're doing. So we'll have a couple more of these next week. And I think we're going to try to dive into some writing and clearing, 2 topics we have not covered. We're excited. We'll be presenting these. Please follow us online. We'll be sending out the links. We're really excited for all of you to join us. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Stay healthy. And thank you for joining us today. Have a great day.
Thanks, Coach. That was awesome.